Now that's better. Maybe I can hear that. All right, we are live. Novice beekeeper. I forgot to mention that. I'm a novice. I'm a novice sewist, novice YouTube live streamer. So this should be entertaining, at least for myself. So what we're going to do is replace the mesh on a veil that I apparently melted the other day. And that is the attempt. Oh, shoot. Now we got to turn this down. Hello, testing 1, 2. Do you hear me? Is there an echo? Is this the one? I can't tell. It's a 5-second delay or something. Nope, that is the wrong one. I want to have the live that I'm doing now on a different screen because I'm using a cell phone as the camera and a computer maybe to control something. But this is not going the way I want it to go. So I'm going to look up the live, see if we can find it. Oh, I think this is the live. So theoretically, this is it. Theoretically, I should be able to chat on here now. Now, I did notice that the video quality is great on my TV, but or monitor, but I don't see it when I play it back very well. It looks horrible. Is it me? I don't know. But we're going to try this anyway. So there you go. Live stream chat going live. All right. So this is the damage. It's a very simple, cheap veil. Very cheap. Very simple. Has a drawstring on the bottom. Pull it up. Kind of the first thing that happened to this is there is a stop. The first thing that happened was the strings disintegrated, and I've replaced them with different strings. And this does not grab as well. It's I guess a different diameter string. So anyhow, that was my first repair. Then I saw a video, Sarah's Happy Hives, Happy Bees, and she had a hole in her screen, and she was going over different ways of repairs, glues, hot glue. I told her maybe window screen. Well, this hole is a little bigger than just a little hole, so super glue or anything like that, I don't think there's anything left of it. I think I hit it with my torch. I was probably torching something and got the flame too close to it, and it kind of disintegrated and melted the plastic into the little blobs. So I think it's beyond that. So the theory is, if I can restitch the top of this veil, and I can stitch the sides, maybe I can replace this mesh. Now, I did a video a while ago where I made a veil for the puppet, and I got some of this mesh over at the big box store, and it's very fine. I don't even know what it's for. Maybe it's for like wedding veils or something. And it's a very light material, very small hole, but black, I think is what's supposed to be, so you can see through it better. So we're going to try this. So I have in my collection here this tool. They call it a seam ripper, I believe. And that's supposed to help you rip seams out. So we're going to use that. And that's after the big box store. It has some type of a lid that you apply and it closes it up. So we're just going to jump in it and start ripping things apart. So what I'm going to do is I noticed that there's like this white string here. It seems to be a joint. It goes all the way through front to back. And it seems to hold this veil wire in. There's like this wire in the top, and it seems to hold that in. So I guess the first thing we're going to do is just take out the wire by ripping out these seams. And I'm seeing already that this camera is way in the wrong position. So here goes nothing. So theoretically, you hook this underneath the threads. You can probably not even see. And you rip them out. About every other thread loop. It's like a loop in there. Now, I wish I could just yank this thing at the string here and pull out a bigger section. Let's try like an inch section, see if we can rip out a whole section. That'd be cool. Yes, it does. So because this is a simple loop, stitch, very light stitch, big spacing, I might be able to do that every inch. That is working great. So I did a little bit of beekeeping today. Somebody came over to visit and showed them the hive. And I had no veil. And was I thrilled that nobody came and stung me in the eyeballs or the face or the lip, because that tends to be the practice of the bees when you're out there. Something about your breathing, they smell that or something, and they go right for your nose and your mouth and your eyes. It's like they know what to do. And those are the most uncomfortable places. And there goes my lid on my seam ripper. And there goes my sound. So what happens is this kind of pulls out. It's very loose. So I guess I'm going to put it in a little harder. Maybe it'll stay. One of the things I like about the beekeeping community is all these live chats that everybody has. They all talk on the line, talk about all kinds of subjects. I get bored of the beekeeping videos sometimes, and I try all kinds of options of different ways of doing the same story, just to make it interesting when I play it back. I really do the videos originally for documentation, so I can know what I did to the hive rather than taking notes, because I notice when I write things down, you can't really get all the details unless you want to write a book, and who wants to be bothered doing that? So if I take a video, it helps me understand what I did last time so I can compare it. Oh shoot, somebody's actually commenting. I just got stung through the glove suit this week. Jimmy Luff Jr. Through the glove. Now, what kind of glove are you using? I know I use like a welder's glove, so it has the cuff that goes all the way up the sleeve, pretty far up past the wrist, and it's leather. I get them at Harbor Freight, and I use them because I weld, and I figured why switch to another type of glove? I'm used to those. I use them all the time, and very rarely will a stinger get through that. But once in a while, you know how gloves are stitched at the seams. I have had one where the bee has found a spot through the seam of one of the fingers or something that's a little worn, and got me. WMG, very good, very cool. Love the channel, great content. Cheers. I'm sorry that you like my content. It's crazy, and I don't know. I was watching a video recently on Jim Carrey and what he goes through in order to make his entertaining movies and stuff, and I don't know. I guess it takes strange people to entertain us sometimes. I love his style. I'm very sorry that he goes through such stress to try and live in the industry. Apparently, according to that video, and I don't know if it's really true or not, but yep, it's fun making videos. It's fun entertaining, but it can be stressful. There's a lot of politics involved with some of this stuff. It's kind of like the beekeeping. Beekeeping is awesome, awesome, awesome hobby. But getting your neighbors on board, that is a different story. Getting your family on board, your friends, people to drop by, trying to share that the bees are not like the ones out in Texas, at least not for me. I can actually go out there with no veil if you want to take the risk. It's kind of like a lottery. Once in a while, you'll get caught and get the $1 million sting on the lip or something. But most of the time, you don't. Once in a while, you get a hive that you do something wrong. You pick the wrong time of the day, and they'll let you know. But other than that, usually you don't need no protection at all. So anyway, what I'm doing here, if you just jumped in, is I'm preparing a veil that had a hole by my torch, I believe. Kind of melted it. And so I'm going to try and replace all this with a mesh that I got at one of the big box stores. So I thought it'd be entertaining, and I really like having the veil just as a security blanket because stung on the lip ain't no fun. Look at that. I had, oh, you probably can't even see that, but I have a string that is all but 4 or 5 inches left. And that's because I'm pulling this one side. I guess in theory, I don't really need to pull the whole thing. I could actually just leave that wire in there, attached by one side, but going underneath that sewing machine may be a pain. So I'm gonna continue to take this wire out. And I'm pulling about every 1 inch section to try and save on doing every one of them. I know sometimes when you do this stuff, the seams are so tight you can't get in there. I bet you can't see this. I know when I played this back, I did a test. This video was so blurry, you can't see a thing. I'm using a Galaxy S22 phone, or actually X20, yeah, X22 phone. So I guess whatever the defaults are for the camera, that's what it is. I noticed it has like 3 different cameras on there, 3 different lenses, and it randomly picks them. And if I take my finger and put it under one of the lenses, I can tell that that's the top lens. If I put it there, it's using the top lens. Now sometimes it'll actually switch lenses when you block one, because I guess it is trying to get a picture no matter what. But in the same sense too, it takes a lot of control out of your fingers, and you're left just with whatever it does, which is good when you are trying to do things on the spot. But when things don't work out quite right, trying to make it do something different is like good luck. Got a comment from Jimmy Luff Jr. I've seen one of I see one YouTube only have 15 views for a year. Then one video went viral and people hit the subscribe button. Yes, 15 views. And then after a year, well, I've actually been doing this for, I don't know, maybe 10 years. Back when YouTube was starting out, I put out a video. It was the same idea. It was just for my own purposes. And joking with what happens with the phone is they're so bogged down with these videos. There's the string from the other side coming out. They're so bogged down that I started using YouTube because when you go to the family and friends and you want to show them something, you can't store all this stuff on your phone. So what I've been doing is using YouTube as a storage device. And here's the wire. And so that's how I got started with it. And I had that video on there for years and years and years. I might have gotten like 1,000 some views on it, but nothing. And then recently, when I started YouTubing, I tried this beekeeping YouTube, and I started a new channel just in case. So it's like not connected with the rest, but this channel is actually related to my Christmas lights, and it is kind of like a dump channel. So it has a couple different subjects on the same thing, but I started getting more views than I've ever had before. So now I'm kind of like stuck with what I got started into, which I don't know. Sometimes when you plan things, it never happens. And sometimes when you don't plan, you get caught. So I got caught doing something that I never intended to do. So, yes, Jimmy Luff, still blurry. Not going to lie. Yes, exactly what I thought. I can't see it one doggone bit when I look on the screen. And I'm not sure, on my phone it looks like sharp as all get out. If I knew like a setting or something like that I could hit, I'd be much more happy because you probably can't see a thing that I'm doing. I'm just going through the motions. I'm actually ripping out the strings or threads, I guess you would call that, on the actual veil mesh now, and that's at the top of the veil, and I'm doing it from the inside. So I have the veil here, and it looks like I just randomly started right here on, I guess that's the left side top. I've now got a hole, big hole the bees can come in. That would be miserable. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do it from the inside. So I'm turning it inside out, and I'm going to rip the seam out from the inside. And it looks like it's just a maybe about 1/4 of an inch is all they're giving me for their mesh, and maybe 3/8 is what the actual mesh is. Which, yeah, right. You're going to see that 3/8 inch. Good luck seeing that. Yeah, it's all that it takes. One good hit video and go viral. That's WMG. I will tell you that my one video went viral. I think they call it viral. I got like 5M, whatever they are, views in about a month. I don't know if that's considered viral. I have a lot of people who tell me that you got to get 100 million or something like 100 M's in order to be viral. I don't know. But I will tell you that the rate of watching has dropped at least in half on that one video now, and it's been a couple weeks. So it went down to half. Now, my theory is, this is my theory because I've never been doing YouTubes and had that many hits on a video before for myself. But I think it's just some random thing like a lottery. You just hit it, and then you're there for a while, and then after that, it's taken away, and you're kind of like on your own. Whether you float on your own or not, you had the opportunity, and if you don't, you don't. And right now, I am basically going down like fast. So theoretically, I should be back to the normal, a couple of views a day in no time. But we never know. I don't really know how this stuff works. But I will probably, if anybody asks, tell them my experience because I know there's a lot of people out there that love the attention and love the views. And for those people, I am excited to try and express my experience so they might be able to do likewise or go from there because it is fascinating. I don't knock that part. It is definitely fascinating how this stuff works because there are some people I click on some of the people that make comments. They have awesome content out there, and they might have like one view on their videos, and the amount of energy that goes into those videos, I know you could spend hours taking it and hours editing it. It's very frustrating when nothing comes out of it, and their content is actually desirable by people like myself because we like creativity, we like that type of content, and it's a shame that we can't find it unless we know exactly where we're going because it won't tell us that it even exists unless it goes viral or something. I know when what first started beekeeping, I think 1 million is viral. Not sure what a friend told me. That's by WMG. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll go with the 1 million. I didn't even know what a million was, to be honest with you. I'm still used to 50 cents and a dollar. This carrying $100 and $1,000 just to go to the store anymore is ridiculous. Um, but I forgot what I was talking about. So I'm going around this veil, and I'm basically ripping out all the stitches around the top. It looks like I was talking too much. Look at that. I actually got into the white part. Didn't need that. It was fun. Yakking and beekeeping and stitching all at the same time. Now I do notice that sometimes if you take and pull the two pieces of material, you'll have like this bridge in the middle. That little bridge is easy to click out the stitches sometimes. Now there is a section right here that looks like they overlapped where they back stitched, and sometimes when you have multiple times over the same spot, it doesn't open up very easy. And if you yank it too hard, you'll rip the material. So the advantage to this veil is the threads are a very different texture. They're definitely bigger and a bolder white. And compared to the lid or the top and the veil, it sticks out. So this is very easily to find. Sometimes your materials, you're like poking at it and you can't tell which is the stitch and which is the material. Right on. Good luck. Thank you very much, WMG. Yep. I'll keep making videos. Like my wife says, I keep throwing around a lot of junk and hoping something sticks. And the reason I'm hoping something sticks is because it's just entertaining to understand how this stuff works. That's the only reason. And the reason I'm doing this live that is blurry is because it's another method of putting out a video. And I just love trying all these different methods. There is a remix that I found on when you use your cell phone. If you click on that button at the bottom, it says remix. You can actually take somebody else's video, cut a section of it out, publish it with a part from your video, or that you just take right then there and live, It has very limited options for editing, and I'm still not sure whether it helps out the person that you're stealing the content from, or if it's just you that gets the credit. I would hope that both people get half and half or something like that, because share the credit. But I have no idea how this stuff works. But I thought it would be helpful for your buddies when you see their videos and you make a video with their content. I thought it'd help them out, help yourself out, and just actually have fun too at the same time. Why not? But I have no idea. I have a couple of those out there. I did one with Jeremy with Bohemian Bees. You can look that one up. I did a short with one of his videos, pretending I was stealing his hive, and I think he got 1,000 or some views. And he has not figured out whether he has gotten any views from it. He thinks that if you click on the connection at the bottom, it'll go to his, and then he'll get credit. But we're not exactly sure. It's all new. We're the older people. Like when we were younger, we didn't even have computers. So we're the older people generation in the 50s that may or may not be as tech savvy as the rest of those people that are watching these videos. The ones that are watching my videos seem to be around age 14 to 25 and they seem to be all males. So explain that one. But anyway, they grew up with this stuff and probably know a lot more than I do. Jimmy Luff Jr. Now you're seamstress. Lots of laughs. You can teach people how to sew. So, I love the English language. How in the world is sew spelled S-E-W? I would think it'd have an O in there. It says sew. Not two O's, because that'd be Sue, but this English language always drives me nuts. Good job, buddy. A man of many trades. Yeah, it's called cheapo. That's what it is. It's not really a trade. It's trying to not spend any money on things that you need and spend the money on what you really want. That's what it is. Now, this is interesting. The side of this veil has a double seam. And this is, I guess, the outside. Here we go. Which way is this? All right, so this is the outside of the veil. On the outside of the veil, no, is that the outside? Yes. On the outside of the veil, you can see, maybe you can't see, it has the hairy edge of the mesh just sticking out there. Now on the inside, it has of the water. It's tough, so it's not sticking out. Probably because so when I play it back, what I did. So we had a double. It looks like actually I started and tucked it in on the outside also. So it's supposed to be tucked in on both sides. That almost reminds me of when you do your jeans. You know, the seam that goes right down the side of your leg, where they tuck one side and the other side. And I think they used to do that because the guys in the coal mines and stuff like that used to wear these heavy canvas type material, and that type of joint, when you pull on it, it pulls on both sides at the same time and makes the stitch stronger rather than just pulling on one thread at the joint. Yes, when you're way down in some cavern coal mining, you don't want your pants to rip apart. Not that anybody would ever see it, because you're probably, I guess they used to use flashlights, not flashlights, candles. lanterns, like on the top of their head, oil lanterns or kerosene or something like that. So it's probably very dingy anyway. But anyway, so we're going to continue down the side of this and try and get these stitches out. Now, because of the double stitches, it's making double the fun. Jimmy says, I see your dirty fingernails. No harm intended in the comments. You're starting to lag. All right, now the lag, I actually have a modem right next to me. So what we will do is we'll get rid of the internet with the, what do they call that stuff? I'll tell you. Now we're going to go right to the router instead of the 5G. So no more 5G. I've noticed with 5G, it's a great signal, but when it goes out, you're like dumped. So I'm not a fan of 5G. I was sold that 5G was supposed to be on top of 4G and 3G and 2G or whatever those other ones were, and they're supposed to use them all at the same time, and we were getting better reception because they're going to throw out everything they can possibly do to get you to have good reception. But my experience is you're just being dumped constantly. So you can't even trust it anymore because you just walk from one side of the room to the other and all of a sudden you're dead in the water. So now we are now on a router directly. I do know that my router is a intermittent mess too. It's only 3 feet away, so theoretically it should work perfectly. But technology, from what I've seen, is not trustworthy. And as for the fingers, I just did a beekeeping, and the propolis, it was like 90 some degrees yesterday, and today I don't know, it was in the 80s. Propolis is very sticky, and I noticed that my fingers have a lot of cracks in them, and that propolis gets right in there. And I'll tell you what, I'd rather have propolis in the cracks than the grease, because I think propolis is probably better for you. Don't know, but I was almost thinking it'd be nice to keep this propolis for like the winter when you have these cracks and fill them all in. It'd be almost like that hoof stuff you put on for hand cream, but it's not that sticky, greasy feeling. It's not waxy. It almost feels natural. And maybe the theory is my fingers won't get cracked up as bad. And when they do, maybe, just maybe, they'll heal faster. Because I hate it when you are in the middle of winter and you bump your finger. I don't know if anybody's ever done that, and all of a sudden it gushes blood out because the crack has just opened up. And sometimes it never was a crack. It just like your skin just splits apart. Some people say it's not from drinking enough water. I have no idea. Some people think it's from the humidity. I do air conditioning and 35%, 15% humidity in a house during the winter months is good luck. You get over 35%, and you start having the house sweat, causes mold in your house. So I do know compared to the winter when you get, or the summer months when you're at 50%, 35, 17% humidity is definitely lower. Which is kind of neat because that's kind of related with the beekeeping, because when we do beekeeping, we're always worried about the humidity and temperature in the hive, trying to figure that stuff out. And it's interesting when you compare that to air conditioning and heating industry, what we do to try and keep humidity in a, say, like a swimming pool area. We don't want the building to rot out, but we want the pool to stay nice and warm. You're fighting humidity all the time. It's very interesting how these kind of relate to each other. So try and take both worlds and put them together. It's interesting. If it looks better now, it's only because maybe I'm on the router, and maybe the speed and data rate is better, so now it doesn't choke back. which would be a perfect example of what I don't want. Which would mean if I want to go out, which my dream was at one time to be able to beekeep in the yard and have other beekeepers at the same time beekeeping. And it's kind of like a hangout where you beekeep at the same time and compare things in the same yard, in your yards. Kind of like when you would go to a friend's house and share stories, or you go to a friend's house and you're working on their classic car or something like that and sharing stories. But then you'd be able to do it remotely. That was my dream. But I've gone out in the bee yard trying to do lives, and I have no success. The signal is garbage. So I guess maybe putting a router out in your yard, if that's the solution, maybe that's what I'm going to do is carry a router with me and some type of wire to where it goes. But I don't know. That may be the next project. So we are working on a veil. It has catastrophic damage. If you just jumped in here, I did something to it. I'm not sure what, but I think I hit it with my torch. So what I'm doing is ripping out a section of it. And that's a good question. Is it going to be a section, or am I going to lost my half my tool? Is it going to be the whole section, or are we going to do the whole thing? Which is the better way to go at this? Should we go the whole way down or not? I know with plastic, things only have a certain lifespan. So theoretically, maybe this material is almost shot. Maybe we should go all the way to the bottom. What do you think? Should we do it in one piece? Because we do have a spot here. We could stop. We could go halfway here and make a splice. Splice might be easier. Maybe that'll make it a shorter video. Then I don't want to bore everybody to death watching this thing. I'm playing it in the playback real fast, like Swarmstead Bees. I watch him. He says, "Play it in the playback real fast." I'll sound like a chipmunk. I'll get the credit for you watching it, and then you won't be so bored. That might be an idea. But I do notice that sometimes when you play things in a fast, you miss a lot of the details. But when you play it in a slow, you're going to fall asleep. Although I appreciate people doing these long, boring videos because sometimes, I admit it, I'm going to tell you a secret. I listen to videos when I'm at work. Yeah. You know, you got that earpiece in your ear and nobody really knows what you're doing. You say, "Yep, I just get it in case somebody's calling me on the phone." But in the reality, you're listening to somebody's B video while you're fixing their air conditioner. I admit it. I'm guilty. Yep. Well, sometimes fixing air conditioning is boring. It's the same thing over and over and over. Once in a while, you will get something exciting, something that takes your full attention. And like I had the other day, I had a bad common wire on an air conditioner to the thermostat. And if my customer is listening, she knows all about it. She has had this issue with a bad common wire for years. Get this, they've replaced her thermostat 5 times. When she started that story, I knew it was not a simple fix. There was something going on that nobody has caught. 5 times. And I've even been there. I admit, I've been there several times and never solved the problem. It never showed up. It just shows up randomly. Well, anyway, when I got there, her thermostat would turn on momentarily and shut off. I'm sorry, this is air conditioning now. And I caught it because it happened right in front of me. It only run for a few seconds and it shut off. Now, I do not know why it worked for years and then stops, but I thought it must be the thermostat, right? So I pulled the thermostat, put a jumper in there, ran it with a jumper, ran like a champ, convinced it's got to be thermostat. Well, guess what? I put a new thermostat on there and it didn't work. No display, no power, no nothing. That's when I realized it must be not enough power going through those wires. So I decided to run something else with those thermostat wires and found out the common wire was at the wrong spot. It was back feeding through the call for heat, which goes through the circuit board, which gives it a common, but not enough power to power things. So that's why my new thermostat wouldn't work. So what I did is simply switch the wire from W to common, and la, she works like a champ, and she can control a relay. I can power all kinds of stuff with that wire now because it has the full power. It's not like they call it phantom power, where the meter reads it, but it doesn't have enough power to actually do any work. So when you get stuff like that, I can't watch YouTubes at the same time. Actually, not watch, but listening to these like long chats. Dirt Roosters, Jimmy Luff Jr. says, Dirt Rooster had a woman at the end of his video talking about propolis. It was interesting. Man, you should just throw that in the link. I don't know if you're allowed to. We'll see. Just throw the name in there, the link to the video, the address, so other people can see it. Because propolis is something that's very interesting. People say it's like from tree saps or something like that. And I do know the bees hang around when I'm making the hives, the bodies and stuff out of wood. They hang around with all that sawdust and stuff. It's almost as if they're trying to jump in my saw. I don't quite get it. But they must like that fresh stuff. It's kind of like when you're tilling the garden and then the robins show up and they're trying to go in that fresh soil and take the worms out. They all hang around you. It's like something is attracting them. What is it? Very interesting. And because now I'm in the hive, I have propolis to play with. So it's another thing to experiment with. What can we use it for? It's a bee glue. Can we use it to seal furniture or stain it? Don't know. I know the first thing I want to do with propolis was to try and tincture it, I guess they call it. Put it in alcohol and dissolve it. Make it into like a really runny liquid. And I would spread it all over the frames and wood and everything. And I thought, is this going to make them draw it out any quicker or any better for them? And from my experience, they didn't really draw it out any better. But I have it written on the hive tops or the frame tops so that there goes that thing again. So I can see down the road whether it did anything different to those frames. So I guess time will tell. When I see those frames, I'll look and say, is it interesting enough to put on a video and tell the world what my experience was or not? But some of those experiments are so drawn out. It takes time to wait for results. And sometimes you forget what you were experimenting with and when. But maybe someday we will have the answer. So now, if you just jumped into this middle of this video, we have a veil. We took off the wire, and we took off the entire front of the hood. And now we are removing a section of this mesh. And I'm going to go for a section. What do you think? Rather than have to go into there to the bottom, let's go for a sectional. So we're going to stop right there at the metal hoop, and we're going to go for the bottom here. Yeah, and when you talk about Dirt Rooster and these YouTubers that have the view count, I love hearing their story of how they interact with people, how many conversations they must have, whether this stuff is actually affecting their livelihood to the point where they are living differently because of YouTube. It's just amazing, some of these things that we stumble on and what they do to our lives. Um, I'm looking forward to it. Yes. So you want Jimmy Luff says I'm looking forward to it. So is that something that you're looking forward to, being a famous YouTuber, or is it something you're looking forward to, the propolis that you're wanting to find out about? Not exactly what you're looking forward to, but I'm looking forward to a lot of things. But when I watch these guys, I like to know all the inside story of, like, really, uh, what is this doing to their livelihood? It's kind of like when you watch that movie, Jim Carrey or something, when they tell you about all the history of the actor. That is so fascinating. I mean, the movies are great. The shows are awesome. The jokes are great. But when you see what they have to go through, the day-to-day grind, reading scripts or making auditions or the phone calls that lead up to actually the movie, somebody saying, "Hey, I have an idea. Let's make a movie." What leads up to the whole thing? How many ideas came around across their table and they said no? And how did they decide what to go for and what not to go for? It's just fascinating, the decision process making. Kind of like when you start reading about these people that do the lotteries and they win thousands of dollars, and sometimes it's totally stresses them out to the point where they end up playing the lottery multiple times. Very interesting what it does to you. How $1,000,000 changes your life. I think there was a movie about that. Becoming a millionaire and how it changes your life. All right, I have now gotten up to the wire, and now I have, that almost looks like a bridal veil. That is the bottom section. So let's go for half a veil. So what we'll do is we're going to get out the scissors, and let's see if these actually work. That's the problem with material. You need sharp scissors. You can't use the ones that you use to cut aluminum foil and ductwork and stuff like that, because some of this stuff is so delicate it won't cut. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and cut this right at the joint there, and remove the bottom half. Let's see if they cut. Oh yes. And I guess we shouldn't really get up too close to that string, because if we do, then it'll probably unravel, and then we'll be thwarted, right? Jimmy Jr. says she starts at 39.10. 39.10 she starts at. All right, now I'm really confused, Jimmy. Is that when she's going to start her video today? I have no idea. We need more details as to what is starting at not 39 and 10 seconds. I love putting timestamps on people's videos. That's great. And then you can know exactly the point in the video where the comment was about. Then you don't have to watch the whole video trying to figure out what were they talking about at what moment. So now we have a veil that's missing a section. So instead of measuring, we're just going to stick this piece of veil right in there and just go for it. And I have a piece on the bottom, which you probably can't see. It's a little uneven because I stopped and started. But that should be good. Let's go for this corner here. We're going to go for this corner right here. So now the question is this sewing machine going to work? I will tell you The sewing machine and me do not go together sometimes. I'm using bulk string on the top here. I think they call this for like sergers, because that's what I have, a serger, and I use this big string. And I have this makeshift piece of plastic that I cut out of a lid or something that holds it on. Because it's doesn't stay on there. And they probably had something to put on there, but I can't find it. So that's what that holds it on there. And I use that in my bobbin, and I use it in the top. And you probably don't know, if you're a true YouTuber and don't do sewing, you probably don't know what a bobbin is. But that is this thing that sits on the bottom. And you can't see that, can you? I'm going to take this phone off. Oh, you know what I can do? I can push this little lever here. Take it off. This is a bobbin. This holds string on the little spool, and it goes down inside this compartment here. And somehow the string wraps around it and ties the knot. And it comes out the top. And it's supposed to be like a P or something like that, which means the string goes out a certain side. So this string is going out on the top left. So if it's wrong, it won't work. I don't remember which way it's supposed to go. But that's the bobbin. And it goes up here. And that is where it gets wrapped up. This little bobbin goes on this doohickey. You put the string around there, and it rolls it around real quick. So that's the bobbin. And this is the foot. This goes up and down. And it's supposed to stay there. That comes off if you're doing like a jeans or a leg or something, so you can get the object closer in there. So this foot goes up and down, and then there's these feeders, these little feet in the bottom. They make the material go back and forth and feed it down through the feet. And this string has to go underneath this foot and through the hole right there, which you probably can't see. And that's the method of sewing, at least with this machine. I'm using a Harbor Freight's tripod that you use for doing laser level, only because I've done Walmart tripods, the cheaper ones, and I'm a little rough on things and they didn't hold up. So this thing is a little bit stronger and it's all cheapy, so that's what I use. And it has this little handle that I can roll up and down, so I can adjust my height. So that is the method. The only thing is the plastic mount that they use for holding it to the tripod is a Walmart special, and it has this little screw on the side that you use to tighten it, and that broke. So I use a washer and another washer to make it tighten, because that all fell apart. And there was another thing attached to it, and that broke. So what I have is on the bottom, I have a bolt and a nut, and that holds it to the other part because that broke off. And the reason I don't like to spend any money on this stuff is I have had some things that are pretty good, and the way I roll with things, they get busted anyway. So I'd rather junk, then I would rather bust something decent. So I'm playing with El Cheapo. And I basically put my phone in the very bottom half, and now I have my adjustability. The only thing is I have my adjustable handle in the way, and this other pivot, which allows it to spin, is in the way of the view. But other than that, it gives me some versatility. I put the link to Dirt Rooster when the woman starts talking about mental health and bees. Oh, so then how come it doesn't show up? Dang. So they won't let you do that? It's in a link. I put up the link. Oh man. Maybe you have to like I don't know. How can you get it through? Private chat. Maybe it has to go in some other method. All right, so now we're back in the live, I guess. I don't know. Let's see if this shows back up. All right, so this is not happening. Is this? Yep, it's back on live. All right, so I'm going to try something. I'm going to try and go into this Dirt Rooster. I'm going to try looking for Dirt Rooster and prop list. Let's try that. All right, here is Dirt Rooster channel. And you can't zoom in this camera either. That's very interesting. Can't zoom it. Maybe I have to make myself a guest. I'm gonna make myself a guest. How about that? We'll make myself a guest. Can we invite in guests? Share. All right, so I guess I gotta copy this and put it in the chat. Copy. And where do I write this thing at? Woohoo! I wish I knew how to do this. I'm going to try and make a comment here. I can't comment on my own chat. This is very interesting. Private chat layout, post chat, post a comment, paste, chat. Let's see if that shows up. All right, so now theoretically we can go in here and we should be able to post on my chat here. Is it going to echo? There is no mic. Display name is Me Too. Enter. Here's me too. So now can we invite me too to come on? I think I'm back again. This is all right. So I have a guest in here. Me too. Hey, welcome. Me too. Uh, invite guests. Oh, great. Me too. Ban from the studio. Kick to the studio. Can we get me too on here? Swarmstead. Hey there, Swarmstead. Welcome to the chaos. I'm trying to do a live. Um, repairing a veil. And I don't know how you guys do these live chats. The technology is beyond me, but I'm trying to get Dirt Rooster's propolis video on here. That would be interesting. I don't know how you do this stuff. Very stressful, isn't it? They can probably only do so many chats a night. Hey, hey there, Swarmstead. I got that on the thing. And Jimmy put the link for the Dirt Rooster, but we can't see it, so I'm not sure. It's supposed to start at 39:10. So that is the goal right now because I got distracted to try and find out, can I actually display this, share it somehow. Because I'm using a cell phone, so I'm kind of limited. But if I can get myself on here, maybe I can display myself as a guest. How about that? So, exit stream. This is very interesting. Here we go. Is this video clips? Probably can do it right from here. Invite guests. We already well, I can enter and leave the StreamYard. That is very interesting. You know what? How about I just take a picture of the picture? We're going to go for Dirt Rooster. And we're going to try and find propolis. Oh, shoot. We got Dirt Rooster's website. That's not what we wanted. How about YouTube? Dirt Rooster on YouTube. There we go. Question: is it a short or a long? Oh, it's got to be long because it's you said 39, so it's got to be a long video. Now, can we look for propolis? What would be a catchy word to find this video about propolis? Make sure I'm spelling propolis right. I have no idea. Dirt Rooster on YouTube. All right, I have Dirt Rooster on YouTube. Oh, I can click on here. I have Dirt Rooster on YouTube, and it's a long video. So now I'm going to try and enter this word propolis again. Let's see if we can get that. I don't know. Maybe the title that might help me. Maybe the title. And how do we get your thing off of here? If the title of the video, like the search, that might help. Oops. What to search for? I'm going to just put propolis. And try it again. Amazing flies come right home. Totally legal. Mobile swamp. The incredible bee batch climbing machine. He must mention propolis a lot. I'm at a loss. I don't know where to go. If you can help me out, Mr. Jimmy Jr., Luff Jr., or if you want, come on here and put it live on your own screen here. Hey there, no idea. Oh, the title is Amazing Queen Flies Away and Comes Back Twice. All right, I think I saw that. Hey, you ever watched Castle Grounds Apiary? Isn't Castle, Swarmstead asked that, you ever watched Castle Grounds Apiary? Isn't Castle Grounds the one that does all those stats? That dude is dedicated. I love his thing. It kind of gives you what's going on, and I'm looking forward to maybe my name might show up on the list somewhere at the very, very bottom now. That would be cool. It's just fun. I don't know. But yeah, I love his stats. I don't know how he has the energy to do all that. But it kind of gives you like a competition, like your Swarmstead Swarm Collection competition. It's awesome. Love the thing. All right, so now we're going to go to the Amazing Fly Queen Flies Away. Let's see if we can find that. And we're going to go to 30, what was it, 39? 3910. We have to watch commercials. Oh, now we got to go to 3910. I hope this is decent because I'm live. All right, 39. Close enough. Now we're going to turn up the volume. Whoops, volume. We want the volume, buddy. Now I hear myself. This stinks. Now we're going to move his video. And we just killed it. So we got 3910 here. Let's go 39. Where'd she go? What? This is raw honey. This is not propolis. Huh. I'm not hearing the propolis part. I'm hearing honey. I'll let it play though. Well, that's the amazing queen flies away and comes back twice. And that is at 39.10. Yeah, Swarm said the next Castle Highs is going to be interesting because you got good stats, or you have a list. Man, I can't wait to find out. I have no idea what's going on with the YouTube industry for beekeeping. All I know is that it's hard to keep a track of you and your own stuff now. Oh, another thing, got to turn this thing on. That's a secret. So what I'm going to do is try and attach this veil material, this now veil material, to the wire side. Oh, go a little deeper? You mean in the video, Jim? What section is deeper? We're at 41:29. Should I just let it play? I'll let it play in the background. We'll eventually get to the propolis. There it is. So it's a defense of the beehive, propolis. Propolis, the name, defense of the city. I think I remember this video. You got that? That's a mix. That is one deep mix of all kinds of stuff in that propolis. So if you want to make your own propolis, listen to this video. You can come up with your own. We could sell it to the Chinese, right? Imitation propolis. Sweet, so that means that's just to work on the cracks on my hands. Oh, I hit the pause button. That's what I did. Tincture of the propolis. Propolis. I'm sorry. Propolis. Yeah, I use Everclear. Better than steroids. That's cool. This lady's gonna have me using propolis on everything. Wow. Yeah, I'm in there deeper. Holy cow. I gotta scroll up, I guess. Missing the comment here. Yeah, Jim, this is something you have to like sit down and watch it several times to get all the information. Because yeah, very interesting. Got the top stitched on, or the wire mesh, wire hoop. And I think I left myself a little bit too shy on the overlapping on the corner. Yeah, you ever read the ingredients in toothpaste, that is like toxic waste stuff. Just tying off the strings on the end so they don't unravel. Gonna have to fly to Florida in the morning and have some CNC machines have good evening. All right, Jimmy, thank you for popping on here. Hopefully you don't get stuck in the airport. Poor Swarmstead bees left, I get. You should have come in here and embarrassed yourself on my live. The novice. Bee sewing channel. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So that was a little chat on propolis. Can't see it, but you can hear about it. Very interesting. The amount of things you can do with that stuff. So now I have a bee veil I have attached to the wire side, a replacement veil material. And now I'm working out toward the top of the veil where it attaches to the hood. So I'm going to try and work up this side here. And I have this extra stringage. We're going to try and get rid of those. And on the side, I also did not give myself a whole lot right here for overlapping. So it's going to probably pull a little bit, but we're going to try and tuck it in there. So now what we got to do is stick this hoop inside here and make our way. And I can see already that the hoop hits. So this is going to be interesting. Is it possible to repair your veil? I'm going to say it's plausible. But is it practical? I don't know. You decide. So now what I'm going to do is lower my needle down in here to try and hold that from unraveling. Get my strings in the back. Line up the two pieces of veiling material, the white and the black. The black is easier to see through. The white is not. And I don't think I'm going to even bother trying to roll this. I'm just going to make a double seam and just have them one next to the other. Let's see how that goes. We're going to start by going forward and backwards, lock the stitch. It doesn't move, so it's probably a big knot under there. And I will tell you right off the bat, we're in trouble because this stuff is so flopsy. All right, we are in deep trouble. This is not pulling evenly. It's turning into a big knot. So when that happens, you just start over. There's a strip cutter on the back. We're going to cut the string. It's on the back of this foot. And you can see right here how it's stitching it together. I basically ran till it ran off to nothing. So there's barely any overlap. So now it's the ripping out of a seam that you just put in. Sometimes you can just yank on these strings and hope for the best. But I did back stitch, which is going forward and backwards at the very beginning. That supposedly takes the string, the threads, and locks them all in, tangles them up in a big mess. And that way they don't unravel so easily. But because I did that, I have a big mess at the very beginning. So it doesn't want to unravel itself very easily. So thereby pulling out these stitches is nearly impossible. Now I will tell you, my shorts get very few views. My lives get very, very few reviews or views from people. They are, so far, just me doing something. So nobody really wants to watch that. But I'm doing it anyway. Just to say that I've done it and see how it comes out. Okay, now I've pulled out pretty much all the stitch that I just got in, except for the very, 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 very beginning knot. And if you just joined the chat, this is a veil that had a meltdown. And so what I am doing is ripping out the hood part. Oh, you can't see that. Ripping out the hood part of the hood of the veil. That's where your head goes. You're in the top section. And I'm taking this veiling material and sewing it up the sides now. I have started at the hoop and attached it, but now I got to attach to the sides. And originally the sides have this curl around the overlap. So we may do that on one side, but this other side I'm a little short. And I'm footing it to try and get it to even attach. So we're going to try it. Second try. We're going to stick this back underneath the foot. And try and overlap this a little bit. The goal, to keep the bees out. That's really all it's about. If the bees can't get through, I think it's a success. So now we're going to try a back stitch again, which is going forward and backwards. First, we're going to lock in our stitch by going forward and backwards 100 times. And not really 100 times, but several times. And that should stop the stitch from coming out. Have this little button to push that makes it go backwards and forward. And the feed dogs are having trouble moving this fine material. So we're going to try and pull it through. This should be a mess. I'm just going to go right down the center. I think what I'll do is I'll do it several times. See how that holds up. So if I go back and forth 3 times, maybe that'll do it. I'm kind of pulling it and slightly pushing it. My dogs that feed this through are grabbing. And we're coming up to the top. What the world is this doing now? Somewhere, someplace, somebody is still watching. I don't know who, but I see you. That is more than normal. Normally nobody watches. In the playback, I might get 14 people. All right, now I'm at the end. I'm going to go backwards because I noticed that I didn't catch the white part completely. Holding the button. I'm going to go forward. And then we're going to cut this straight. And see how this looks. I'm going to use my seam ripper to cut it. And there is the reveal. Oh, come on, we can't use the camera because it's too low. All right, so now we have one side of the veil, and we have this seam right up the edge. And as you can see, I'm all over the place. Almost like a drunk driver trying to take this up. So now the theory is, let's go down the road several times and maybe it'll hold up. So here we go. I'm wondering if